So, hi guys. I was hoping to have some colleagues with me, but they're otherwise engaged with their supervisors. So I'm going to do this alone. So, just to give a synopsis of what is happening with the coronavirus and the fact that we have notified one case in the island. I want you guys to understand that panicking won't help you, and people have been doing a few things that is being dismissed. Wow, interesting. I just pop up on acute respiratory distress here. So the coronavirus is not something that we can treat right away, or there's no vaccine or any medication for it yet, because it's what we call a novel virus. It's a new virus or a new strain of a particular virus. And viruses by nature need a particular host. To be able to replicate and to be able to survive, it has to live within a host. So it doesn't fall in the animal kingdom because it can't live on its own. It needs an actual host. And oftentimes that host is a animal. So a human being or some other kind of animal. It has been compared to, based on articles I've read, these are peer-reviewed articles or journal articles. If you're hearing me, just tap some like buttons or make a comment, because I don't know if you're hearing me. Yeah, but I was saying a while ago, it was compared to SARS, which happened in 2003 in China. And SARS, similarly to, was an acute respiratory disease or virus that was controlled by China because they did the isolation method and the quarantine method, which I'll come to later on. But as I was saying, that the virus needs something to be able to replicating, and normally the host is going to be an animal or a human being, right? So it is what is happening right now with the actual virus. It is replicating and also mutating somewhat in some persons, so they can't actually find the virus. Just like how you remember HIV used to behave and they couldn't find a cure for it. Yeah, viruses are kind of very hard thing to be able to mimic, because they replicate and they might change their form so much more, and it causes some kind of confusion. I'm trying to put this in the simplest way possible. Let me take out my lab coat because I'm coming out of a lab. So now, how can I protect myself against this virus, considering that there's no vaccine? It will take them a while to get a vaccine done, because a vaccine is actually a weak form of the virus. So when they inject a vaccine or any other vaccine into your body start creating immunity to the actual virus. So you can't just get the virus or mimic the virus and just put it in the body. You have to be able to find a suitable volume and stuff that is allowed to be placed into the human body who's not infected already, to be able to get some immunity of the actual virus. That's what a vaccine is. So it will take a little bit of a time, probably take a month or so, to get the best vaccination, because you don't want to hurt people. So always remember that vaccine are attenuated forms or weak forms of the actual virus that is implemented into the body to get a response. It can't, and at that level, it should not be able to harm the individual who's uninfected. So the body will get a response and develop what we call immunity. Alright, so based on my calculation and the updates I've gotten from across the global space, like World Health Organization, PAHU, I recognize that you have persons who have recovered from the actual virus. This is called natural immunity. So there are persons who their body have begun to fight the virus and they've recovered and overcome the actual virus, which is possible. In any society, once you introduce a new disease into the society, we're expecting at least, say, 40% of the society will become infected, but you also have those who will have natural immunity, who will not become infected, or those who become infected and they develop immunity and respond in like manner. Just send me some likes, some hearts, or something. I can know that you're hearing me, because my phone is on the desk. I don't know if you're hearing me or not. Alright, continuing just the same way. So we spoke about vaccination just now. So though we don't know a cure for it or a vaccination, there are things we can do to reduce our chances of getting the virus or reduce our chances of becoming ill from the virus. A means of doing that is that we have to be, and you've heard it all over the space, is that you must wash your hands. And there's a particular way of washing your hands, right? So you go to the tap, whether it's your house or a public tap or wherever, you turn the tap on. What you must do at all time when you turn a tap on is trying to rinse the tap with some fresh water and some soap if you can get to rinse it off. Just pour it on it. When you're washing your hands, you wash it like this. You go between your fingers. You come with your thumbs. You wash it, right? After you've done, you grab a paper towel, you dry your hands, you use the same paper towel and turn the tap off. So if the actual tap had somebody who was infected and touched the tap after like coughing or something like that, you would not get the virus so easily from that. So you actually have preventive and protective mechanism, right? Primary control. The other ways too is keep up on your vitamin C's. So this has been advised across the health media and organizations. So increase the vitamin C so you can increase your level of immunity against the actual condition, and drink a lot of fluids. Another thing is that you must be willing to know that you cannot wear a mask if you're not infected. If you have been confirmed or you recognize you have symptoms, and some of the symptoms of the actual condition is that you might have sore throat, and it's similar to a common influenza virus. So you might have cold, you might have sore throat, you might have fever, and you might have cough. The cough might be dry cough, or it might produce a sputum. When you produce a sputum, what we call the yellow thing or white thing we call cold, right? So in that case now, you can wear a mask, but it is best you isolate yourself from public spaces so you don't transmit the actual virus, and you keep your environment that you're in very clean. For persons who do not have the virus, it is not being advised that you wear a mask, because the idea is that you will have a development of moisture upon breathing in and out on the mask, and it increases your chances of actually getting the virus if you become exposed to the virus. There's another thing that's going around where persons are putting on gloves and all these things. Guys, the virus is more likely to stick and live longer on a glove, and it's going to stay on your hands. And you're more likely to transfer the virus to other devices from your gloves. So persons might have on a glove and they probably become in contact with a surface that is infected. So that means that person who actually had the virus went there, touched the counter, and then you now with the gloves touch the counter. The virus is on the glove. You take up your phone, you use your phone, you expose yourself to the virus. And where are the exposed points? The exposed points are your nostrils, your mouth, and your eyes oftentimes. Because these are very thin layers or epithelium, and the virus can easily get into your body from these points. So you might think that you're protecting yourself, but you're doing more harm to the actual society by practicing things that are not supposed to be done. All right, guys. Who is more susceptible to getting the virus? Any one of us can get the virus, but persons who are in the vulnerable group, like persons who are elderly and old, are more vulnerable in terms of, I don't want to scare you, but in terms of death. So if you can encourage persons who are older to avoid public spaces, avoid persons when they recognize they're coughing. You don't need to be rude to people or anything like that. You might recognize somebody who's beside you is coughing, just step away, keep about a meter, they say, away from the person at least. So you don't. Because actually forming coughing that you have residual respiratory droplets. So when you cough, they might not be visible to you, but you actually spew out droplets, right? What else can I say? Just be kind to people, generally, in this atmosphere. And when you interact with counters and stuff like that, be careful how you put on your bag, how you put your hands. And if you do that, just keep on washing your hands with soap and antibacterial water. Antibacterial soap and clean water. If you don't have the antibacterial soap, you can just go ahead and just wash your hands for the most part. Just keep on washing your hands. Be careful how you put your hands in your face. You touch the contact points, your nose, your mouth, and your eyes, right? And if you're coughing, So if anybody has any question, you can go ahead and ask. I don't know if I can be able to help you and answer those questions. I'm coming from a medical point and coming as simple as possible as regards the virus. We're hoping that with time, those persons in the first world will be able to create a vaccine and actual treatment. But I think most doctors might start treating the actual symptoms. And if you recognize that you're really ill, it is okay for you to visit your doctor and get a confirmative test. And that comes back to the point that people need to understand that there's a difference between a case and a suspected case. When you are confirmed, so a suspected case is where somebody might come to the doctor and they might have cough, sore throat, fever, all the symptoms or most of the symptoms, right? So the role of the doctor is to get you tested using the kit that they have available now. And based on that kit, it might say that it is positive or it is negative. Daniel. So a colleague of mine just walked in. So it will tell you if it's positive or negative. If it is positive, that means you might have the replicate for the actual virus. And hence, you are a confirmed case. A suspected case is, as it says, suspect. It becomes confirmed when the symptoms are present and you get tested with a kit by a doctor or some medical professional. And then you're deemed to be a confirmed case. Try not to panic so much, people. I know it's hard to say because when I heard about the first case, I panicked. I forgot to say that the virus was somewhat similar to SARS that happened in 2003, where what we call the gene of the actual virus, the RNA had 20% replication to that of SARS. But how China handled SARS back in 2003 was that they ensured they isolated people, and the isolation was able to reduce. He wants me to talk to me, Dr. Pepple? Alright, I'll come in. So I have to go, but as I was saying, the SARS virus is similar to coronavirus in the RNA structure. So they were able to control it by isolation and quarantine of persons who were ill and they kept inside. So protect people by, if you recognize you're ill, just avoid public spaces, because when you do that now, you interact with other persons and you increase the chances of the disease or the virus spreading. Do have a wonderful day. Be sure to share with your friends. Be sure to encourage somebody to wash their hands. Remember. Yeah. And God bless you and keep safe. Bye.
Why is my hand full?